Perfect. And then, yeah, we will take some questions probably throughout the webinar as well. But yeah, and we can certainly, if you guys have questions at the end, we'll stick around for those too. And yeah, you can just put those into the chat or the Q&A box. And yeah, today we are here with Rose Schroeder and Linda Buchanan from the Backcountry Horsemen of BC, and they're just going to give us a little behind the scenes look of their organization. So, yeah, great to have you guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sarah. Shall we go ahead then?
Yeah, turn it over to you guys. And yeah, if you want to share your screen, Rose, and throughout the
Okay.
presentation.
Well, while our pictures are still up there, I will introduce myself. I'm Rose Schroeder. I've been a member of Backcountry for about 30 years. I'm currently the provincial secretary and a vice chair at the Shuswap chapter. I'm also director at Horse Council BC, and I've been the past VP Rec at Horse Council BC. And this is my friend Linda. She's been a member about 25 years. She's chair of our provincial trails committee, and she's past chair of the Shuswap chapter. Sarah was just talking about questions. Yes, we're going to stop periodically and try and answer some of the questions. So make sure you put them in that chat or Q&A. And then at the end of the presentation, we'll make time for a few more questions. We have 27 slides, and I hope that that answers most of your questions. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And here it comes. Let me know, Sarah, when it shows up like it should.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and now we'll just get rid of all the other stuff. All right. Is that where
perfect.
is
Looks
it up?
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to start. This is our logo, and we're going to start with a poll. We want to find out how many people watching are actually Backcountry members currently. Sarah's going to put up a poll. Give you a minute or two to answer that. Obviously, Sarah, I can't answer it. I see it, but I can't answer it.
Yeah.
It says hosts and panelists can't vote.
Yeah. And we have 33 people on the call, 29 have answered. Awesome. It's great.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we'll go on to slide 2. How come slide 2 doesn't want to come up?
I think because the poll's still running. Just a second here. Oops, I just lost you guys. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, you're back. Okay, I think it should be okay now.
It's not.
Nope.
Why
Still
not?
not going forward.
Okay, just a minute. I'm going to stop sharing and I'll share again.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. There we go. All right.
Perfect.
We're on track. All right, slide 2 is a little bit about our history, how we came to be Backcountry Horsemen of BC. In 1988, a fella that many of you may know, Jim McCrae, decided to ride from Mexico back to Canada, and the trail ends in Manning Park. It took him 4 months. When he needed help along the way, or sometimes he just ran into people that were clearing the trail, and they were all Backcountry Horsemen of America. So when he got home, he thought, well, wouldn't this be a good thing to have here in BC to help us protect our access to trails? So he started to get people interested. And in 1991, June of 1991, the society became officially registered with the BC Registrar of Societies. Now we are particularly fond. We're passionate about all horse trails staying open, but we're particularly fond of historic trails like this picture here, which is the Dewdney Trail that used to run from Fort Langley all the way to Fort Steele near Cranbrook. Now about 80% of this trail is under Highway number 3, but there's still portions that our chapters look look after and keep open. In particular, it's the Yarrow chapter that keeps this piece that we're looking at right now open in Manning Park. Okay, next slide is who we are now. Well, we're volunteers that help to maintain the trails and campsites around the province. We have all ages of people, 8 to 80, all breeds of horses. We have all disciplines that join us. We have people that ride in all kinds of different tacks, some even drive. And as you can kind of tell from the pictures that you're going to be watching that most of us are over 40. We're that generation that or that stage of life that has the time and the money and stuff like that. But we have families as well, and we have little kids that come with ponies. Our purpose is to improve and maintain equestrian facilities like campsites and trails for all equestrians. We work with all kinds of user groups, government agencies, First Nations, the general public. We're closely related with Horse Council BC for sure, and ORC, which is the Outdoor Recreation Council of BC, and Leave No Trace Canada. They're our conduit to government and many of the land managers. We right now have 20 chapters all over the province, and annually an average of 950 to 1,000 members. This particular picture shows us, we did a ride from Fort Langley to Jacobson Lake, and that was in 2017 for Canada's 150th anniversary ride. And we had about 10 of our members that made it the whole way. It took a week, but made it the whole way, just to help celebrate and bring some awareness to equestrians across BC. So what do we do? Well, here's some pictures of what do we do. We do all kinds of trail maintenance, from the picture on the left, which is a turnpike to help horses cross a muddy spot. That was all covered with gravel, and then it keeps the horses from doing a lot of damage to the environment. The one on the right-hand side is just brushing a trail, trying to get rid of stuff that's crowding the trail. We also build trails, brand new trails. We also build horse camps. We collaborate with all the other user groups too and work together on things. So the work that we can do can be as simple, like we want to make all our volunteers feel like they contribute. So the work can be as simple as pouring coffee to operating a chainsaw, to organizing a clinic for education, or developing a plan to build a campsite or a new trail. And we also keep track of our volunteer hours. The dollar value of our volunteer work for 2024, I don't have 2025 yet because it's not finished, was just shy of $104,000. That's just the volunteer hours. The total value since recording started is well over $2 million. So here's just a few more pictures of trail work. We have a lot of our members get chainsaw certified. And we have members that get ATV certified, so they can use that kind of equipment. We also have camps like the one on the right. This is Larch Hills near Salmon Arm, where our facilities are not permanent. So you'll see those panels in the background. They're on cross-country ski trails. This is a cross-country ski place. And we put them up in the springtime and we take them down in the winter so that the cross-country ski guys can get out there. And then we also work on signage. We work with land managers and help provide signage according to their standards. So the one on the left is some interpretive signage up at Skamikan Lake rec site. And this is the seed orchard where they grow baby trees to get planted. So we worked with them and we got some nice interpretive signage along the way. And then over on the right, you'll see Linda putting up some safety signage for a trail. That's actually the Trans-Canada Trail near Princeton. We had a big event there called Rendezvous. And so we put up some safety signage so other users would be aware we were going to be there. Our chapters do this kind of thing all over the province. Some more signage. The one on the left is some signage that was developed and paid for to go up on a kiosk at, I think this is Ed Abel's. So that's the kiosk in Manning Park. And the one on the right is our Recreation Sites and Trails BC. You'll see that referred to as RSTBC, Recreation Sites and Trails. This is their standard, and that's up at Skamikan where these are posted to mark trails. Here's a larger work bee. This is up at Lundbom Lake. Many of you have probably been to Lundbom. It used to have about, I don't know, 8 or 10 wooden corrals that were falling apart. They had no manure bin or anything like that. So we went up there, we developed a plan, we raised the funds, we got the materials, and we had a weekend-long work bee, and we made that into 28 corrals. And we put up a big manure pit too. Sometimes that with 28 corrals, some weekends that is totally full of horses. And then we also like to feed our volunteers. We'll have a crew making meals for our volunteers and handing out water and snacks and things like that. We believe that there's a job for everybody and everybody for a job. Okay. Why do we do this? Well, I think her sign says it all. To preserve trails and access for equestrians for now and in for the future. And it's not just for horses. I mean, you think about it. All horse trails are also hiking trails. And some we share with mountain bikes, motorized too, where it can be done safely. Like if you looked up South Canoe, they have an extremely good way of sharing trails with everybody. So another reason why we do this kind of work is there's an old saying, it's called use it or lose it. And if you're not there and you're not in the know, you might find that horses are no longer allowed in places. Like we had golden ears back in the early 2000s. When they come up with their new park management plan, they were gonna not allow horses anymore in the park. But we got together and we went and sat down with the park manager and we said, hey, yeah, we still want it. We still use it and we'll help, we'll do whatever we can to help keep it there. And Linda is having the same experience right now currently. Liz, she's going to tell you about it.
So there's a lot of equestrian use over at Kalamalka Lake, which is a provincial park, and parking is an issue, and it's just a very, very busy park. So I got in touch with the park area supervisor, and I said, "Hey, how can we maybe try and alleviate some of the pressure on Kalamalka and get more horses going up to Silver Star?" And he advised me at the time that they were actually going to remove equestrian use from the Silver Star Park as horses were not using the trails. Nobody had seen them up there. There were no hoof prints on the trails, but so this was 2 years ago that I had talked to him, and he said they had just redone their management plan and decided to keep equestrian use in it at that time, which I went, phew. So then it's turned out fabulous because he then connected me to the other user groups of the Sovereign Lake Cross Country Ski Club, the Vernon Snowmobilers, the Vernon Mountain Bikers, and I've been working with them on a summer use map for equestrians. And so again, that's one of those examples of we don't use it, we could lose it. And we're a strong voice in being able to make sure that one, that we get the right to use something, but we also have to maintain the right to use something by using it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rose.
Okay, thank you, Linda. All right, let's move on. So here's our mission statement. I don't want to read it out word for word. I'll just give you a minute to look at it, but it basically is going to say everything that I've been saying. one of the things that I don't think people realize is that we're not just about backcountry trails, like way back in the mountains that you can only get to with a pack horse with many days of riding. We're worried about front country trails too, and we're going to get more into that in a minute. Okay, I'm going to move on now. Okay, not only do we, a second, I just got to move this thing out of the way. Good. Not only do we do a lot of work, but we love to just ride. We build all these trails, we maintain all these trails. Well, we want to get out and ride them as well. And we like to enjoy our horses. This picture over on the left is up at what's called Fish Trap Camp. It's a RSTBC camp, and there's many, many kilometers of trails. And it was a hot day in the summer, and we came to this lake. I think, is that called Snake Lake? I can't remember.
I think
It was a
so.
Snake Lake trail, so it must be. Anyway, it was hot and we couldn't get our horses down to the water. So a friend of mine gave us his cowboy hat and we dipped up water and all our horses drank out of his hat. It worked really good. And over on the right, we have a picture up at Rainbow Trails. Yeah, that's near Merritt. And we just are relaxing around camp and we have a campfire, we eat lots of good food, and yeah, we all get to relax, horses and people. Okay. Uh, funds, funds. Oh, we go get that in a minute here. Here's the front and back country trail question. Okay. So both Linda and I and our whole organization are having a difficult time with a definition for front and back country trails. So if you give it some thought and then put what you think would be a short definition, put that in the chat, please, and maybe that'll give us some help in defining it. Because you look at this picture on the left, well, who knows? That could be front country. It looks really easy versus the picture on the right, which is up by Jacobson Lake, up it's part of the Hudson Bay Brigade Trail, actually. That's called Palmer's Pond. And it's way out there in the bush. It takes you an hour on gravel roads just to get to it. Okay. Okay, we also do a thing called rig rides, where we drive in somewhere and we park and we just day ride out of camp. And this is up by the Gang Ranch, so it's way out there. One of the things I'd like to talk about here is of some of the major projects that we've built. So we've built 5 major equestrian camps in BC. And I said 5, but my list here has probably more like 10. As well as many smaller projects, just keeping local trails open and stuff. So funds we are all raised by us through applying for grants. We get some donations and some in-kind work. So some of the major projects are places like Skamikan Camp and Trail Network near Salmon Arm. We raised about $100,000 to improve the trails and camping there. The Headwaters Corral is in Manning Park, and there's lots of trails in Manning Park for horses. We sunk another $90,000 into that from grants. Lundbaum and Kane camps, trails near Merritt. Improvements to both of those have come up to about $80,000. We have a coal mine camp near Smithers. I don't have a number, a value on that one right now. We have Salmon Memke camp and trails north of Courtney and on the island. In 2025, that chapter raised $500,000 to improve some trails at their camp. Spruce
Also,
Camp. Sorry, Linda?
it was also a major government grant
Yeah.
that they applied for.
Spruceton Camp and trails near Nanaimo. They raised some funds and built a staging area and camp. Fish Trap Camp near Barrie. You saw pictures of that. They built a mountain trail course and improved the corrals there with some grants. Trapping Creek is near Kelowna, and they built 2 campsites and cleared some trails. Macintosh Camp in Bell Mountain, that's a huge project that went on 2 years ago, and last year, they did some improvements last year, and they won the outstanding project for 2025. Paul River chapter in 2026, so that's next year, we'll be building an equestrian camp. That's your area, Sarah. equestrian camp on one of their trail networks. The cost's not known yet, but they've gotten their Section 56 or 7 approval. So you have to get approval from the government to do these things, right? So I think that might be, let's see, all of these projects have signed partnership agreements or some kind of agreement like an MOU, an LOU, that's memorandum of understanding or what is MOL? I forget. So we've got 14 of those partnership agreements with BC Parks or Recreation Sites and Trails BC, and a few other ones with it's LOU, not MOL, LOU, Letter of Understanding with private landowners. So maybe that would be a good place to stop and see if there's any questions. Sarah, is there?
So we just had a bit of a problem with the chat, but I think it's working now. And just in regards to the last front country versus back country, we have Elizabeth saying front trails equals haul in for a day, ride and haul home same day is kind of her thoughts on that.
Okay,
Um, Backcountry, haul in camp or pack and camp for multiple days, away from trailers. So we're getting, and yeah, so if anybody wants to put your thoughts in the chat, we're happy to hear them. But yeah, I think we're just getting people kind of coming in with their front country, back country answers now.
excellent. Okay, I'll look forward to that. Okay, and we also do pack trips. Sometimes the pack trip includes packing tools for parks or rec sites and trails or other user groups. Linda has done some where she got organized a group of packers to take gravel into some trail for some trail work. We also do things like there's a fat dog race in Manning Park, and they have to have first aid stations way back in the mountains where you can't get to with a vehicle. So they asked one of our chapters to haul stuff in, like snacks and medical stuff, to one of their stop or rest areas. On South Canoe, oh, you already talked about South Canoe. Okay. Okay, so how do you find out where we ride and volunteer? Linda.
Okay. So many, many years ago, Backcountry Horsemen had on their website a trails database that was created by Jack Breaks. However, there was a huge virus that just totally took over, and it was not no longer a secure site. So everything kind of stood stagnant for a while until Horse Council BC and Backcountry Horsemen kind of were talking about mapping trails, and the discussion started, how can we take or salvage the trails database that was in the Backcountry Horseman website that nobody was maintaining and it was a mess, and move it over to Horse Council and where it could be managed properly with the proper security data stuff going into it. So this is how this Horse Council Trails database started. And this is the home page. It's under recreation or trails. And then on the front, on the home page, the province is broken up into trail zones. And these zones, they're, they may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to Horse Council because it's the zones are designated in relation to other programs that Horse Council has around the province. So on this home page, you can click on a zone. They're color coded. So Thompson, Okanagan. Also, you can contribute to this trails database. If you ride a specific trail a lot, then you can provide a comment or maybe an update to the information that's in there. So if we go to the next slide, Rose. So I clicked on Thompson, Okanagan, and voila, up comes a map, and it shows me in the whole Thompson, Okanagan area the trails in red pins and the horse campsites in blue pins on this map. And if I hover my cursor around on top of a pin, I go, okay, I want to go out somewhere around Salmon Arm and camping with my horse. So I hover over top of that pin and then a little box pops up and it tells me that there's Skamikan trails and a horse camping site and whatnot. So then I can click on that. But below this, you could also just kind of scroll through all the records that are indicated on this map, and they'll have great information. So go to the next slide, Rose. So this is the information that is provided within a record. There's photos of the trails or of the campsite, that kind of thing. And then under each photo, under the photos, is little tabs. So the information tab, it covers, it's just a brief introduction about the site. So in this case, Skamikan. And then the specifics would be trail length or elevation. Ride time is kind of a little bit difficult to determine because everybody rides at a different rate, but a lat and long. And then the notes, that speaks to more about what's at that location, if the camping facilities and about the trail network, lots more detail that you'll want to dive into. The directions and map tab is linked to Google Maps on how do you get there. The comments tab is where people can add comments about their experience there. Or I'm always updating this, so I happen to find out at Cathedral parks or that there's a huge area closure due to the 2023 wildfires. So I put in some updated information in there that might be good for people to know. And then the last tab is upload download tab of where you can upload some photos. You can see some maps of the area there. Not all of them have that information, but we're when I'm working in here trying to get that information in there. So it's kind of all under one site. So you can contribute to this. With respect to the photos, just it's not a place where you can photo dump because myself and another gal from Horse Council have to actually then go and look at each of those photos and approve what can be in and what can't be in. So we try and avoid photos of people's faces and stuff. It's more like what you see here on Skamikan of what the trail looks like or what the campground looks like. The shots of between a horse's ears, I quite like. They're good, and also some viewpoints. The other things that we do review all of the comments because we don't want something inappropriate being approved in there. So we do look like at that, and it gives us the most up-to-date information. So I have been given permission through Horse Council BC as a backcountry horseman member to gather as much information I can from the equestrian community or other backcountry horseman members and anybody to help update this whole database so it's a really great resource for equestrians that are wanting to putz around the province and see what's out there. Besides lots of photos of me putzing around the province being out there. So I think have a look. It's the online trails database at Horse Council, and your backcountry horseman members are working hard on updating this all.
Did you want to say anything about submitting comments? Like we really encourage people to do that.
Yeah, I did.
In somewhere.
So on the front page, you can submit a comment or you can submit a comment um, um, through the upload tab. But on So if you've been to a place, you can add some a comment on what your experience was and what it's like.
Yeah, that keeps it really current.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Sarah, is there any questions about the Trails database?
Yeah, there was one that came through from Chloe. She's asking if I have a property that offers horse camping slash accommodations, is it possible to have it added to the map? We back onto Crown land with lots of trail access.
So I can answer that because there are some private horse camping places that are in the Trails database. So my recommendation as a private owner is to get a hold of Horse Council. Sharon Pickthorn would be the key person to, and just discuss what you have to offer and everything like that. And yeah, but we do have some in there
So how would she get a hold of Sharon Pickthorn?
through Horse Council.
Sarah? Through
Yeah, I
Sarah?
think it would be best. The recreation at hcbc.ca email is still active. So, yeah, just reaching out to that. I'll maybe put that in the chat as well. That
Good,
email.
thank you, Sarah. All right, can I move on?
Yep.
All right, so the other thing that backcountry horsemen are big on is education. Members, teaching members, kind of like the pony club model or 4-H model. Um, Chapters put on clinics. Both of these pictures depict clinics, one where we learned all about taking a horse's vital signs, and another one where we learned some backcountry medical stuff, first aid stuff. Our meetings usually have a speaker of some sort. We also have a 4-level education program. It's on our website. The education program is not, we don't provide instructors, but we outline the things you need to know or should know if you want to go and ride trails or any kind of riding, really, because we go into horse training, we go into everything. We teach leave no trace principles on horse use, and we're going to start talking about rendezvous here in a minute. Our rendezvous has a big education component in it as well. We do a lot of meetings. This is the truth. We do a lot of meetings. So our provincial executive runs the day-to-day stuff of the society. We're directed by a board, which is the chapter chair or alternate of each chapter. And they hold their own meetings, usually once a month. And we pretty much all take July and August off because those are really good riding months. We go to meetings with BC Parks and Rec Sites and Trails. We go to meetings with First Nations, Metro Parks, or CBC, which I told you was Outdoor Recreation Council, Horse Council, and any kind of user group that we have to collaborate with. There's lots of community groups, like there's things you've all probably heard of, Friends of Manning Park. There's Chilliwack Recreation Advisory Group, Shuswap Trails Alliance, Friends of the South Slopes. They all have an equine voice, and it's really important at the local level to get that horse person, that equestrian out there on some of these meetings. Okay. One of our favorite things is the annual rendezvous where all our chapters have a chance to get together, share ideas, have some fun, go for rides. We have competitions like the one on the left there. That's a packing competition. You had to see how many barrels you could get on your pack horse and go all the way around the arena without them getting rid of the barrels. That was a lot of fun. And there's a teaching component there on the right. We do Dutch oven competitions, poetry competitions, packing competitions, talent shows at Rendezvous. There's trail rides, but the biggest draw is the social thing where you get together with, you know, old friends that you never get to see hardly. They're like-minded, passionate horse people. 2026, our rendezvous will be in a 100-mile house. So watch our website for more information on that. So there's an example on the left there of our Dutch oven cooking that we do. We have contests, or sometimes we just do Dutch oven cooking because we like doing it. And on the right, we've got one of our older cowboys. He was giving out free advice at our rendezvous in Valemont. And we usually have a dancer or some kind of music. There's Verna. She got the uh, Volunteer of the Year award this year in Princeton, where our rendezvous was. So, BCHBC members, yes, we work hard, but we also have a lot of fun. Sometimes it's almost too much fun. So, some of the benefits of belonging to Backcountry Horsemen. Well, we have things like we have affordable insurance, and I'm not talking about the Horse Council insurance. We have our own insurance for work bees. Uh, we also, if you want to ride, you need a Horse Council for sure. We have discounts at certain businesses. Uh, you can learn about trails all over the province, not just in your local area. You can make new friends all over the province. You can share ideas. You get some education. We have awards like that John Gardner Volunteer of the Year Award and the Outstanding Project Award. We also have chapter service awards for the chapters to hand out. We focus on supporting our volunteers and the right to ride in BC. And it's one of the most important things we do is we recognize and reward our valuable volunteers. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So how to join? If you look over on the right of your screen, it says click here on that brown button, join now. That's at our website, www.bchorseman.org. Then you just follow the prompts. Or, our fee right now is only $55 a year. So we have a lot of members that join and pay that $55 that we never see just because they believe what we're doing. So they join and we've got that $55. 20 of that $55 goes back to the chapter that you join to help it operate. So memberships are open now and you get the rest of 2025 and all of 2026 when you join now. Or there's always the option to donate. So you can donate funds through either the Backcountry Horseman website or through the Horse Council website. And I think with that, we are into any other questions? And Sarah's just going
Awesome.
to check
Thank you
it
so
out.
much for that, Rose and Linda. Yeah, we'll open it up to questions and see what comes through here. Um, yeah. Okay. It looks like Elizabeth has a question. I was a member, but it lapsed this year. Would it be a renewal still?
It would be a brand new renewal if you lapsed, yeah.
Okay,
You'd have to join as a brand new member.
sounds good.
Just while questions are coming in, um, one of the important things or things that I've learned over the last couple of years is uh, with respect to meetings and getting out there and actually meeting the other user groups that I am sharing the trails with. And by doing that, you can change a perception of of what people think about horses on trails or even my own perspective of mountain bikes on trails or ATVs on trails and just completely change it as to how we can all learn to recreate together and from just joining these different organizations like the Shoe Shop Trail Alliance or your another local riding club in your community or an ATV club or if your husband or a kid or somebody in your family is a mountain biker and just being kind of representing horses out there and sharing the trails and how everybody can do it together. I think that's been one of the biggest benefits of kind of getting ourselves out there and being an active participant at these other with other groups. And sometimes it entails going to meetings but it's gone a long way for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Linda. Yeah, I totally agree. Like multi-user organizations and getting involved in it, I think is like super, super important. We did have a question come through. Um, if we track a ride, what format do we submit it in and to who? Um, for example, like GPX tracks.
That would be correct. You can do a GPX track on any of the tracking apps, no one particular one. And so again, they would come through to recreation at Horse Council um, BC. And then Horse Council, one of the other benefits is they have a cartographer. This is a person that creates maps. And so your tracks all get reviewed, and if they're in a for a trail network, then the cartographer can create a map like what you see in Avenza if you use Avenza. And there's some verification, especially if it crosses private lands and whatnot. But that can all be done at the map creating end. So yeah, we welcome tracks so that we can make maps.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, and I think there is also in the Trails database a tab as well where it offers the GPX where you can totally download, or if another option would be to recreation at hcbc.ca. So that's perfect. Um, we have somebody asking, she is asking what would be the closest chapter for her. She's Oh, where's my closest chapter for both Nakusp and Revelstoke? You guys know what would be close?
West Kootenai. Well, Revelstoke would be Shuswap,
Hmm.
but Nakusp would probably be West Kootenai. They
Okay.
have a chapter down near Trail.
Okay. Okay, great. Um, and then we have Linda asking, what is the protocol for group rides with regards to equine safety, in regards to like the viruses and stuff that are going around right now?
Oh, well, that's a tough question. We do have safety guidelines for group rides, but it doesn't include anything to do with vaccinations or that sort of thing. So you would have to contact the ride leader because we do not like make it mandatory that your horse has to be up to date on all vaccinations at a group ride. So you'd have to contact the group or the ride leader, and maybe they could put out a question to all the people registered for a ride to see, how that goes. Otherwise, you kind of have to make your own kind of guidelines, like don't share water buckets or keep your horse away from other horses. Don't put it in a pen where other horses have been in, that sort of thing. That's the best, unless you have something to add to that, Sarah or Linda. We don't set standards for that kind of thing. We're not veterinarians, so we don't set standards.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's good. That's fair. Um, we have another person asking, how do we apply for chainsaw and or ATV certifications within our chapter?
Okay, Linda, do you want to answer? I'll throw in something if I need to.
Okay, so you can get a hold of your rec sites and trails officer and see if they have any persons on. They'll usually have a list of those individuals who can offer a course. Sometimes other user groups, like your mountain bikers or hiking groups, may be offering a course, and they've arranged for, and you can jump on board with them. Um, the ATV certifications, Rose can probably maybe answer that one.
Sure. So it goes with chainsaws too. If your chapter has a relationship with a BC Parks guy or RSTBC guy, a manager, it could be a lady, they usually organize these chainsaw certification clinics and ATV certification clinics, and they'll put out the notice to all the user groups that they know about. And they say, okay, backcountry horsemen, you can have 2 people attend this clinic. So your chapter chair goes and sees who wants to join in the clinic. Or the chapter might decide to put on the chainsaw certification clinic themselves. We did that down in Yarrow. We did a ATV clinic that we organized ourselves and found, somebody that was qualified to put on a certification clinic and certify us. Uh, that's mostly how that happens. Either you get it through BC Parks or RSTBC, or your chapter organizes it themselves.
Okay, awesome. We have a very exciting question now, the next
Oh,
one.
oh,
This is from Roger. And he isn't a horseback rider, but he is a bike packer. And he's asking about the protocol to follow when I come up on a horse. Lives in Fanny Bay and looking to use the Salmon Brewster this summer. I'll be
oh,
joining.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, Roger, for asking. I really appreciate this question.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I'm glad he's on here.
yeah, me too. It's exciting.
There are protocols when you come up on a horse. You should always stay well back and then acknowledge the rider because they may not have heard you coming up, especially with mountain bikes. They don't, they're silent. So usually the horse gets quite scared if they come up suddenly. So you always stay well back and then and ask the rider how to proceed. It would be nice if mountain bikes would wear bells like dogs do and, so that we can hear you coming. But yeah, just call out, say hello. How would you like me to proceed? Can I pass? How should I pass? That sort of thing. Horses need to hear your voice so that they recognize you're not human, not a predator of some sort.
And one of the easiest ways to remember for anybody when you're out on the trail is this little slogan that you'll probably hopefully see a lot more around. It's just slow and say hello.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. We have Anne asking, do you have other members from different user groups? And potentially Roger. As a
Yes.
new member.
Yes, for sure we do. Yeah. And many of us are also like to ATV in our spare time, not just horseback ride. Uh, there was something I was going to mention about that. Okay, it'll come to me. Anything to add to that, Linda?
Um, no, like we do have other people, hikers or that do support us because sometimes we're the ones that are keeping their hiking trail open.
That's what I was going to add. We
Yeah,
have non-riding members as well. Yeah.
yeah.
So they join backcountry. They don't have to join Horse Council because they're not going to be riding, but they're non-riding members.
Hmm. Yeah, and I would say I'm one of those non-riding members right now, as I don't have
Aw,
my own horse at the moment, but I do mountain bike and hike as well. So yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm just seeing oh, we have another one. Oh, so this was part of Sylvia's question in regards to the certifications for ATV and chainsaw. Are the costs directed to the chapter or granted through Backcountry Horsemen Provincial?
It could be any of the above. Sometimes you have to pay all of it. Sometimes you have to pay part of it because there was a grant. Uh, or sometimes you have to pay none of it because it was a good grant.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Backcountry Horseman has uh, in the past, can't guarantee it every year, but we try and provide it every year, grants for our chapters to apply for both trails and horse camps, as well as education. And then Horse Council BC also has the Equestrian Trails Grant and education grants. So the big thing is figure out what you want to do. In this case, maybe ATV certification course. Get all your numbers. Who's teaching the course? How many? Is it open to the public? If it's open to the public, then you have a bigger opportunity to obtain a grant from Horse Council BC. If it's just for your chapter members only, then you'll have a better chance, or you'll have that opportunity to get the Backcountry Horseman Education Grant. And it, like Rose said, it may cover just a portion of your overall cost. It could cover all of it, or your members could just end up paying $5 to go to a chainsaw certification course. So lots of opportunities out there, and there is funding support through Backcountry Horsemen and Horse Council.
Okay, great. I don't see any others coming through at the moment. But we'll give people maybe another question or another few minutes here. But I actually had a question for you guys. I was curious, how did you guys get involved with Backcountry Horsemen? Like, who roped you into joining the organization?
That's lots of good stories about that for sure. For me, it was my lifelong goal. I had horses since I was 10 years old, but I've always wanted to pack into the backcountry, be able to pack on horseback into the backcountry by myself, not by myself, but for myself and my friends. So everything I did in between then and when I turned about 40 years old and finally started getting to that helped me do it safely. And before Linda tells her story, I'm gonna tell you a story about a lady we met on the Coquihalla one time. We were hauling horses home, and when there was still a toll booth up in the Coquihalla, we got stopped, and we were standing around waiting, and we were walking around our trailers and stuff. And this lady behind us got out of her truck, and she said, "Oh, I see your sticker, Backcountry Horseman," and she started talking about it, and she became one of our lifelong friends. She
Oh,
now rides mules, she packs, she does everything. It's just really, really cool.
oh, that's cool.
Now,
And just randomly
Linda,
on
how
the
did you get
coca.
involved, Linda?
Yeah. So
Oh.
I was a late starter into horses, and there's been a couple of pictures of my old little horse there, Jacob, and I was boarding at Rose's farm, and Rose was doing endurance riding at the time, so of course I latched onto that and let's do endurance, but we found, okay, we're missing so much racing around all these trails. I'd like to go slower and look at them and really enjoy them. And we found that we actually enjoyed flagging the trails and planning, doing the routes and everything like that, and clearing the trails for the endurance rides more than we enjoyed the endurance ride. So then all of a sudden I flip over from my little Arab doing endurance races to pack trips. And he's like, it's a group of horses. We have to go. I go, no, we walk now. And then my very first pack trip with Jacob, and it was my first time leading or leading a pack horse. So here I have my hands on my reins to hold Jacob, and I have my other hand on the pack horse, and I'm riding along. We're going into the snowy mountains, and Rose and the other gal that we were with said, "Yeah, you know what? We're really behind time. Let's just eat on the way." And I'm looking and I'm going, "Well,
While
how do you
we're
eat? My hands
riding,
are
we're going
full."
to eat while we're riding.
So to make a long story short, by the end of that pack trip, I could eat my sandwich along the way and lead my pack horse. But the other point that was brought up too, it's um, friends telling friends about backcountry horsemen. And it's like-minded people that just the majority of people that we have, I think, join a lot of our chapters is they want to meet like-minded people and hopefully find somebody in their area that they gel with and can go riding with at their local trails and whatnot. They just don't want to go riding alone all the time. So whether you like to clear trails or not, it doesn't matter. We're here to link you with, and hopefully you'll find a long-lasting friendship with somebody that you can enjoy your horses with.
Yeah, so cool. So
Yeah.
cool. And we had somebody ask just now, how can we get in contact with people who organize pack trips? She hasn't been, but really wants to go. Is that kind of, do you think like rendezvous would be a good opportunity, or just like reaching out to our local chapter, or?
Yeah, local chapter for sure.
Mhm.
And Rendezvous. We get a lot more packing people come to Rendezvous in the last little while because we put on clinics too, learn how to pack. And there's
Mhm.
also a thing called the 1 minute club. If you could throw a double diamond in 1 minute, you get a special t-shirt, that kind of thing.
Do you want to explain what the double diamond is, Ruth?
Oh,
For people
okay.
who don't
That's
know.
how you lash the tarp down over your pack boxes and all the gear that you have on your horse. It's called a double diamond hitch.
Keeps everything secure.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. I guess one more question I have
Okay, go.
is, do you guys remember your first like horse camping trip where you camped with your horses?
I do.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Do you
Well,
want to
my
share?
very, very first one was when I was probably about 12 years old in our local
Okay.
riding club. The lady took us up on Vetter Mountain and we stayed overnight in Vetter Mountain. But
Oh, wow.
then my first one as an adult was I went with Jim McCrae into the Snowy Mountains, and that's what hooked me on backcountry horsemen.
Mm, cool. Cool. Yeah.
And yeah,
Linda, do you remember want to share?
well, that was her first pack trip.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Snowy
yeah, the one
Mountains
that
was my
you,
first
okay.
factor.
Yeah. So you didn't just stay at a corral or anything. You guys went out into the
No,
like
yeah, no,
overnight.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, we didn't do the luxury stuff of
Yeah.
going with our rig, and I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, it
we're in our
wasn't.
60s now, so yes, we take a rig and we go and have, try and find those places that have the corrals and go ride, several hours for the day and then come back to our rig and sleep in a nice bed.
Yeah.
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 No, Snowy Mountains is tenting and campfire cooking and horses are on hobbles and high lines. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty neat experience.
So there's still a lot of that kind of riding around the province. Most of the BC parks have that kind of backcountry riding. If you are in the Horse Council database, you can look at the Moose River route and a couple of others around McBride that the Robson Valley chapter has really done a lot of work on. And they're the ones that are maintaining these like way in the backcountry trails all the way. So there brings us back to our question, what's front country, what's back country?
Yeah.
So giving that thought, then, and front country might be, taking your rig and going to Lumbum and having a corral and riding in an open rangeland. Or some might think that's back country because they're coming from the lower mainland. So there's lots of options that we have around the province. And I think um, as people get more and more comfortable just going out and day riding on trails, the next step is well, where can I go and really feel safe and camp with my horse now, and then progress from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And just one more question from Wendy. I'm just asking, do people usually have their own pack horses, or are there opportunities to borrow pack horses?
There are a few guide outfitting companies that will rent out pack horses, but not much. Usually you have to have your own or have a friend, or you can
Okay.
learn if you just want to do short pack trips, you can learn how to pack on your own horse on a Western saddle. You don't have to get all the fancy gear. And there are also people, if you're able to hike, what they do is they use their riding horse as a pack horse and they pack all their stuff into a camp, unload it, put their saddle back on, and then go for day rides from the camp.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's a
there's
great
many
idea.
ways to do it rather than just pack horsing.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
And we teach you that at Backcountry Horsemen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions, and that takes us just after 8. So I think that's maybe a good
Perfect.
a good stopping point. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you coming on, and
You're
yeah,
welcome. I kind of see maybe another webinar about one of our trips.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, you guys have lots of great stories, so we would love to hear more of like your trips and yeah, what you guys have done.
Well, searching
So
for wild horses in the Chilcotin was one of my highlights.
okay, okay,
Whoa, yeah.
okay. Well, we might have to organize that, Rose, if you want to come share. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, yeah, thanks again, everybody, for taking the time this evening, and yeah, and we will see you guys again with some more webinars. So,
Thank you, Sarah,
yeah,
and
thanks,
everybody that
Thanks,
came.
everyone.
yeah, all
Good
right, have a
night.
good night. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.